All right, Brianna. Big win tonight. What does this have to do for the team? What does this have to do looking forward in the conference play?
It's giving us some good momentum going into the next game and giving us some more confidence. And, like 3 games ago, we were on a 3-game losing streak. So now we're just kind of turning it around.
Mm-hmm. So in 23 points tonight, what went into that?
My teammates giving me great passes and offensive rebounding.
Mm-hmm. All right. So then, really, you guys did not turn the ball over much. How much of an emphasis was that coming into this game this week?
It was one of our keys for the games. Every game, Coach Shane gives us like 4 or 5 keys of the game and says if we follow and focus on our keys, then we should have a good outcome of the game.
Then your last game against Bowling Green was a little disappointing as a team. Did that play into anything tonight, or did you guys just move on from that?
I think it played into it a lot, because we kind of know what we did wrong and what went wrong and what we could fix. That's the good thing about going through the teams twice. You get to go back over what you messed up the first time, and I think we did that today. I think we executed that well.
And then in that first quarter, Bowling Green had that 10-2 run going into there. What did Coach say in the huddle that really brought you guys back out of there?
Get back to our principles, follow our keys. You don't switch what we're doing because what the team is trying to make us do. Stick to what we do.
Mm-hmm. Big win tonight. What do you have to say about it?
Well, I'm really pleased with the way our defense performed. We had I thought our game plan was probably followed as good as the defensive game plan that we've had so far this year in terms of we had a couple breakdowns, and we always will, but I thought that our team was really locked into what we were trying to accomplish, and I think it started on that end. And probably the absolute biggest thing our defense was good at was what we didn't do, which was putting them at the free throw line. And they're really good at getting there. And if you can keep them from, it's hard to keep them from getting there. But if you can really increase your chance of winning.
Mm-hmm. So, Coach, I just have a couple questions. I kind of noticed that you did, in the second half, it was kind of a modified half-court press. In the first half, it was more of a modified full-court press with bringing the guards up. How do you go about, implementing that in practice and then how it produces in the game?
Yeah, I don't think we really turned them over in using the press. We really were just kind of trying to be a nuisance and be out there and see if we could force them into something. I don't think it really ever created. Might have got one somewhere. I don't remember it, but yeah, we were just, and it's not something we do a lot of. It's something that we've done in the past. We were trying to do it on free throw makes and dead ball situations. Again, just trying to use a little bit of clock. It's a really efficient offensive team. They score a bunch of points, so we thought that might, over the course of a game, help us out, and I thought it did.
And then you have a couple of non-starters, Sydney and Ashley. They both had a kind of a different role in this game, seeing a little bit more game time. What's the process that goes into them, and will we see more of that with later season coming up?
Well, I've been trying to get more flexible with our bench, with bringing our bench in at a little sooner in games and resting people. And in our last game at Northern Illinois, Conkle was pushed into duty because we were in foul trouble, and it wasn't something we anticipated, but responded really good, played really well. Sydney today she had a couple big shots for us, and she was probably better than normal on the defensive side of the ball too. So I thought she was a real help for us on both sides of that too. And then Riley was not her normal. I don't think Riley had her best game or her best minutes today, but that's a kid that's really important to us and is going to get some more minutes moving forward. So, but it just gives us some real depth getting in there, and it gives us a chance to get Leia's and Bree's and Jordy's to the bench that can and make them a little bit better in the fourth quarter than we have been at times.
Right. And then can you just talk to me a little bit about the production of Brianna and how she plays a factor in the team's success?
Well, you saw the difference in the numbers we didn't have an offensive rebound in the first 20 minutes, and it was because she was sitting on the bench. So we were down, I don't know what the rebound was at half. I think we were down 8 or 10 rebounds and didn't have an offensive rebound, which we understood was largely because Bree was on the bench. But it just shows you what her motor is, and she got some really big offensive rebound putbacks in critical situations when it was kind of teetering, are we really going to get it to single digits or not? And really was, I thought when she made her biggest buckets was probably in that stretch in the third and fourth quarter.
And then as the end of the season approaching, MAC, MACtion is getting closer. What do you tell the team at the end of the season? Like, what are the message like that you're conveying to them?
Well, our message hasn't changed a whole lot. We want to be playing our best basketball in February and March, meaning not starting right now. We wanted to be that way all the way through February. We went through, a rough stretch where we lost 3 games in a row with 1 possession losses, basically, and kind of knocked us out of the race for the MAC West. But we're still in position to fight for the MAC seeding and get as high a seed as we can, and be playing well going into March 10th when the conference tournament starts. And I told them in the line that starts tomorrow in practice. Like, we have to, every possession matters tomorrow in practice, just like every possession matters in the game.
So then, you mentioned the game was teetering a little bit in the first half. In the first quarter, there was a 10-2 run where it looked like Bowling Green might be able to take a lead. What went into that adjustment, that timeout there?
Well, we were giving up offensive rebound. This is what was hurting us in that situation, and then we stopped scoring. We do that too often for my own comfort. I understand it's going to happen throughout the course of a game, but we struggled in the last 5 minutes of the first quarter that they were able to make that run. But again, and at the end of the half as well. But then we made a nice little push in that last minute 30. I think Sid hit a big 3 at the end of the shot clock, and I think we went from a 1-point game and opened it back up to 3 or 4. I don't remember what, but that was a big minute 30 something in that last of the second quarter there.
So then you guys won the turnover battle 5-13, and you gave up 0 points off those 5 turnovers.
That was huge. It's got to be a turnover season low for us in turnovers. I don't know that for sure, but it was the first thing I looked at, or the first stat that jumped out at me on the stat sheet before I came into here, and I said it to our team. Only 5 turnovers. That's really good. Equally important was that we had a nice disparity at the free throw line, which was a really big key in this game too. So those 2 things, and then rebounding, 3 categories we really thought we needed to win was those 3, and we won all 3, thankfully, in the second half because of Bree's production on the rebounds.
So you've mentioned a couple of times to me turnovers and peaking when you need to. Seems like the turnovers have peaked when you've needed them to. How critical is that going into this last end season push?
It's major critical, because if you're not giving the ball to the other team, you're getting a shot at the rim, and most nights you just say you're shooting 40%. So that's if we had 15 tonight, that's 3 or 4 less buckets that we might have had, which could ultimately change the game. So yeah, it's really big.
So then you guys led the whole game. There was 35 seconds where you guys didn't lead. What went into that domination, do you think?
It started on the defensive side of the ball. We other than that run they had, the 10-2 run there, I thought we stayed really consistent. I thought we didn't think we were going to switch a lot in certain positions, but then as the game unfolded, we started. I thought we did some really nice switching in the fourth quarter in particular, which we were getting beat going to the rim, and I thought when we started switching, it kind of curtailed that. Other than a couple mistakes we made on 23 throughout the game, I thought our defensive game plan was followed pretty darn good. And Cam doesn't get enough credit defensively, but she was charged with guarding number 4, who's one of the top 3-point shooters in the country, and held her without a 3 until right there at the very end, that last possession. So I think it's a remarkable effort on her part.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.